Good morning. It is Friday the 16th of May 2025. The time, of course, is 10 past tomorrow. And this morning I'd like to talk about the fact that the White House has just decided that every American teenager will become an artificial intelligence expert before they're even old enough to drive. Now, I know that sounds like a bad Netflix series funded by Elon Musk or something, but it is actually really significant news, even for us here in New Zealand. And I'm going to explain why today in this video essay. So first, let me explain what's actually happened. The United States government has established what they're calling a National AI Literacy Task Force. And its mandate is to strategically integrate AI education across all grade levels nationwide. It's pretty huge news, and this task force will be responsible for developing AI curriculum standards, ensuring consistent delivery of AI throughout all schools, and overseeing ongoing evaluation of AI literacy outcomes. In addition to that, the government are putting pretty substantial federal funding allocated specifically towards teacher training programs in AI literacy programs, AI skills training programs, to empower educators with the skills that they will need to confidently incorporate AI concepts into their daily lessons across all diverse subjects. Also, as part of this task force, there are AI apprenticeships which are being developed, facilitated, rolled out, and there will be a pretty significant focus on these. So the idea being that to offer young people hands-on experience with AI and subsequent pathways into the workforce, so they're already equipped with the essential AI literacy and skill sets and capabilities to enter the workforce AI infused. And then lastly, the initiative includes really robust public and private partnerships alongside a pretty ambitious thing called the Presidential AI Challenge, which is a nationwide activation that aims to foster deeper collaboration between educational institutes and industry leaders to drive innovation and also to sync up practically the link between education and industry. So what does that mean? It means the equivalent of today's Year 9 students in America, and they'll graduate around 2029. They're going to enter the workforce with super robust AI skills. So that's all really significant from an American point of view, but I'd like to, for the purpose of this video essay, I want to do a thought experiment and say, let's imagine just for a second that it was New Zealand that has just announced exactly the same policy. What would that look like? To try and give it a sense of realism, you know? So schools across the country, from Auckland's central suburbs down to rural Otago, would embrace AI as standard practice. This would be mandated, it would be infused into our education system. Teachers would have comprehensive government-funded training to confidently deliver AI integrated lessons. This is important in my imagination. Safe and ethical AI literacy would become as fundamental as reading or maths. So to my mind, what has to go along with not just the AI literacy and the skills training is also coaching and guidance around how do our young people not come to rely on AI as a crutch? How does it not supersede their ability to reason, to apply logic, to apply critical thinking, to overtake empathy and interpersonal skills? In my mind, this is where I see AI training going, or quality AI training, is it has to be dovetailed with those critical human skills and the encouragement for young people to hold on to those, and that they shouldn't die to the detriment of developing AI skills and capabilities. So alongside that, if we were to see this type of program introduced in New Zealand, I think universities would need to rapidly evolve, right? I can imagine incoming students who have come out of come out of high school already adept at using AI tools creatively and capably. So university courses would very quickly adapt. And there'd be a flow on there that would fuel innovation across science, arts, business, technology faculties. And further than that, businesses nationwide would very quickly have a dependable pipeline of really local AI talent. Innovation could accelerate, small businesses could rapidly upscale, large companies could confidently push ahead more productively and with greater levels of innovation. And I can even, to shrink it back down, I can even see clear benefits for families. So at the moment, I already sense and hear anxiety about what will the workplace look like for children studying now, right? What will the future opportunities be for my kids is a question I'm often asked. So I think with an initiative like the American government have brought in, if we were to bring that to New Zealand, parents they'd have really clear, achievable paths for their kids towards thriving careers that actually incorporate and consider AI's future right here in Aotearoa. But of course, there's a reality check needed, which is that's all hypothetical. So New Zealand's current AI strategy includes guidelines for generative AI use in education, and they're outlined in the Ministry of Education's 2024 guidance document, which is good. And we've developed strong and you would say world-leading ethical frameworks around Māori data sovereignty in relation to AI. So those are both good things, but unlike what the US are doing now, our current strategy doesn't actually extend into prioritizing the development of wide and deep AI literacy throughout our population. So yes, we've got solid and safe usage guidelines, but they're only guidelines for generative AI use in classrooms, and that's okay as a start, but it's not really enough. In fact, I don't think it's anywhere near it. We're lagging the US mandate in pretty key areas like essential teacher training for AI skills. Here, it's almost non-existent. AI implementation in classrooms is currently voluntary and it's not even encouraged, let alone mandated. And funding in New Zealand remains practically non-existent compared to the scale and ambition that we see in the US and incidentally in China. Right? So the difference between what we're seeing in New Zealand and in the US isn't just vision around AI, it's also action and investment. And so to me, this gap matters, and it really matters, and I think it should matter to our whole country. Kind of the good news around this is historically, when America leads on powerful innovations and meaningful innovations like this in the education sector, New Zealand tends to follow eventually. So I've done some research into something that was introduced in the US called the GI Bill after the Second World War, which ended up influencing our post-war education system by expanding higher education access and kind of shaping the framework for New Zealand's university education reforms. And then more recently, in 2013, the US released what they called their Computer Science for All initiative, and that was kind of the precursor and paved the way for our 2020 digital technologies curriculum. So we do often catch up, but in this case, when we're talking about the context of AI initiatives, speed really does matter. So what does all this mean to you as a business leader? Well, if you're sitting at boardroom level, my recommendation is that you don't wait for our parliament to catch up, right? And this shouldn't be a surprise to you. I have been peddling this line for a couple of years now. It is up to us to educate ourselves and to educate our employees, to bring them up to speed, to make them AI literate, to make them AI fluent, to make them AI skillful. So here's the self-action playbook in 3 bullet points that I would give to those sitting at boardroom level, which is Immediately arrange an AI literacy briefing for yourself and your senior leadership team this quarter. You need to take advice on what AI upskilling for your workforce actually looks like and how you would deploy it. Second to that, develop and clearly articulate and publish your AI governance principles for all your internal and external stakeholders to digest, and then set concrete AI literacy goals for your teams for this calendar year. I would be very surprised if similar initiatives to this American task force do not come to us in New Zealand. So businesses, position yourself ahead of that curve. That regulation, I think, is almost sure to come. Position yourself ahead of it, which is going to build trust internally within your teams and people, right? If you're not in the boardroom, if you're in an operational role, you've got options too. As I say, I think in time government will start funding AI learning resources, but until then there are actually plenty of great places to start right now that are freely available online. The one I always recommend for absolute beginners is a course called AI for Everybody, which is presented by Andrew Ng on Coursera. Thinking more laterally, you'll soon be able to engage remotely with initiatives like the actual Presidential AI Challenge. You can collaborate with colleagues by starting a local AI learning group. You can do that today, and then as a shameless plug, my online academy will be going live in June this year. So here's what I see as the bottom line relating to this pretty incredible set of White House mandates about AI literacy. It's these things. AI literacy isn't optional anymore. It's now fundamental for everyone. Side note here, you can see my recent video essay on what the Shopify CEO has mandated at his company about AI being compulsory there, or as he calls it, a reflexive skill set. That's more evidence of this trend towards AI being considered a fundamental skill set, right? My second point, early leadership on AI is for those who are currently first movers in this space, it's giving real competitive advantages. That will erode over the next few years as these kind of mandates come in and AI starts to become table stakes. Being an AI-infused company becomes the norm. And so when that happens, not just using AI, but creatively and strategically applying AI will become the differentiator. So I think in New Zealand we've got a pretty clear choice. We can let others lead and we can follow later, which I think is a pretty dangerous tactic, or I think we can embrace this opportunity now and define our own future like the states are doing with their AI literacy mandate. So I don't think there's no reason that in New Zealand we can't be great AI innovators. We don't have to build the tech. It's being built for us, and just using off-the-shelf tools, which are priced at incredibly low price points, can fundamentally rewire whole companies if we're literate in how to use that technology. So I'd love it if New Zealand chose to lead and innovate and create AI opportunities and not just wait for them to arrive. I think this US initiative is a canary down the mine, and almost certainly other countries will follow. I hope New Zealand is a very fast follower. So thanks for watching, and as always, I look forward to your comments and the discussion in the comments section. And actually, before I go, there's kind of one last nugget to chew on this topic, which is I think we should ask ourselves why this particular White House is making these AI literacy mandates. What is this White House motivated by? I alluded to it in this video actually in one point. It certainly isn't altruism. So who are they racing here to produce an AI literate population, and why? I'll leave you with that parting thought.